What's up, Mansion Builders? I want to talk to you about why you were thinking about quitting your RAL dreams, right? And perhaps why you gave up on the last goal, your last business idea, your last attempt at financial freedom. You got so excited about it, you took some action, and then it fizzled out. So I want to talk to you about that today because it's a pattern. There are things that are happening that repeat over and over again. So let's identify the pattern and let me show you how to break it. So the pattern that I'm talking about is called the emotional cycle of change. And it has 5 different steps in it that you go through. And I want to show you why most people can't complete it. They can't get to the end of it, to their goal. They actually quit after the 3rd step. So let's break it down. The first step here, uninformed optimism. A lot of people get super excited about the REL space. They're like, oh my gosh, I can do this deal, right? All I gotta do is buy a house, convert it. I'll have 6 bedrooms. It'll be so easy. I can charge $5-6 grand a month. My expenses will be so low. I'm gonna be able to open 10 of these. I can scale it and put it all across the country, right? I am so pumped and jacked about this deal. I'm gonna get financial freedom. I'm gonna get my 3-pack. I'm gonna do all these amazing things, right? You have this energy. You are uninformed because you don't know what the business is like. You haven't actually been running it yet. You don't know the challenges that are there. And you are very optimistic. You are excited about the deal. So as you're the uninformed optimist, you're high, right? Your emotions are high, and then you start educating yourself. And honestly, you start going down from there, right? You become the informed pessimist. So now you're starting to learn, you're starting to look at deal analysis, you're starting to talk to people doing these kind of deals, and you're like, man, I'm putting pencil to paper here. I'm looking at my 6 beds at $5,000 a month, and looking at all my expenses and my staffing. I didn't know staffing was gonna be that high. I didn't know I'd have a manager and a chef, and then there's overtime. Oh my gosh, like this nets to zero, right? I'm not seeing any way to make any money, right? The properties are so expensive, all these kind of things. You're like, I just can't figure out how to get the math to work. This doesn't seem to work. Or it's, you know what, I thought this was gonna be so easy, but you know, the city says I can't do it. And all the other cities around say I can't do it either, right? They don't want business use in residential zoning. Oh my gosh, who would have thought? So now you become this uninformed pessimist. You're like really kind of jaded on the deal. It's like, I don't have that positive energy anymore. I'm not feeling good about it anymore. And you enter the 3rd stage. You're in the valley of despair. And it's like down here at the bottom of this diagram. And it's like, oh no, like I'm in the valley. I'm depressed. I am sad. Like my dreams were just wiped away, right? I just took all this action. I got a coach and a guru person, and I spent all this money, and I moved my family across the country, or I bought this house and all these other things, right? Like you're like, it doesn't work. And I just invested all of this. What do I do now, right? It's like, you're just bummed. And you go through this cycle from ups to the downslide to sitting in the valley, and then you quit. And you're like, this is not for me, right? I know some of these other people made it work, but I don't know how they're making it work. I can't do it. I can't do it in my market. It doesn't work here, right? I hear people say that all the time. They're stuck in the valley, right? And then you know what they do? They give up. They move on from there and they find the next opportunity. And they just recycle this. They repeat it. They don't move past that to the next stage. So I want to share a little bit about my story because I was kind of in that space, right? I got excited about this REL model. My wife and I, we got coaching. We spent some money. We bought a property in Texas. We were living in California. We moved our entire family, our kids and everything, to Texas to live here to start this business. And then I got more informed. I became the pessimist. I own the property already. I've already moved my family. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, the city is saying this. And I start looking at the numbers. I was planning on doing an 8-bed with this property that I bought on Mesa. And I'm like, I can't figure out how to make the math work on this number, right? And I got sad. And I got like in this valley, like, babe, I don't know. I'm talking to Laura, like, I don't know what we're gonna do. But here's the thing, like I'd already burned the boats, right? I had already moved my kids away from their grandparents, and we were kind of winding down our flipping company in California. It's like, I got to figure this thing out. So I kind of just went through the school of hard knocks and I figured out another way. So that's kind of where I want to transition and talk to you about, because if you are in that spot, if you're in the valley of despair, if you're learning about this space and this niche and you're like, man, I don't see how this stuff works. Let me show you a different way, right? The REL model, I got to the valley of despair and I had to climb myself out of that and really develop a new model, right? And it's the mansions. That's what we do. So I want to say that the 4th step, right, past the valley of despair, is informed optimist. You start climbing back up the mountain. You are educating yourself more. You are learning more. and you're getting more and more optimistic about it. Your confidence is building because now you're looking at other people. You're like, oh, you know what? This person over here, they did it differently. They did it like this. They're successful. They're making 40K, a month. They are very passive in their business, right? There's other people that are doing it, but now let's get informed. How are they doing it? Because there's people who do it and, don't make it work. And there's people who do make it work. So let's find out. Let's get informed and let's start building our confidence. Let's start taking more action steps and following the people that have been successful. So then the fifth step is completion. You've climbed the hill, you're back up, right? Like you have gotten the goal, you built your mansion, you've got your license, you've hired your team and your staff, you filled up with grandmas, you built a wait list, you're making 40K a month, you're working 2 to 4 hours a week. Like that's where we got to several years ago, right? We climbed that mountain, we got complete. And honestly, getting your license is really kind of just the first of those hills. And then it starts again as you're going through the operations company. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm back in the valley of despair, right? And then you build your operations company. You're like, oh, cool, this works again, right? Like I go through it. So this cycle repeats for so many different things. And honestly, like my background is real estate investing, and I tried a whole bunch of different niches. I started in mobile home investing and literally went through this same cycle. Got so excited, I'm gonna buy a bunch of these. Went out the first weekend, bought 3 of them, right? Started doing like rent to owns with them. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And then I started figuring out like, oh man, this is not for me. This is not good. I do not like this avatar of the buyer that is here. And I got back into the valley of despair and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I actually did quit. I stopped that. I sold those mobile homes and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this anymore. And so this is a pattern. There are people that are out there that are being successful. Just become the informed optimist. Follow the people that have been successful. So for this niche, right, for the mansions, everything that we do, I've literally documented our entire journey. It's on the website, assistedlivingmansion.com. Hit the free resources. There's training there. I built out 3 courses. They're entirely free. It's literally everything that I would have wanted to know when I was in the valley of despair, right? It's like we just documented everything that we did, our failures and our successes, and we said, don't do this, do this. This is how the numbers work. This is how the zoning works. This is how to raise the money, all of those kind of things. So I really hope this can be encouraging to you. If you've gone through this and you're like, I just don't know how to make this work, other people have been successful. I've been successful. Check out the free trainings, take massive action on it. I can tell you what, it is not easy. I can tell you that you need a solid education and a plan. You need to really know your numbers. You need to get the right people on the team. And then you need to take massive action. All those people you see on those groups on Facebook and those kind of places, they are not doing enough. You need to do 10 times more action than them, and it'll still probably take twice as long as you think. But I promise you, it is worth it. When you get to that completion of the top of the hill, man, when you look back, you're like, I've done so much, I've accomplished so much, I've built this amazing business, I'm actually making a difference in my city, I've built early, retired for myself, I've gotten financial freedom. Like, it is just like, wow, I did all of this, right? It was not easy, but it is so worth it. So take massive action, get out there, hit the website, get the free courses, and I will see you guys later.